So, bottom right corner in blue from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is ZEST. And also from Dragon Phoenix Gaming in the red, this is Dark. So nice. Okay, so obviously ZEST starts with blocking the natural with a probe. Always good stuff, right? Romanticide, I would say, is yeah, a quite campy map, right? Like it's quite difficult to get attack someone who is on 3 bases here, right? Because you've got these such a narrow ramps. So basically, usually it means that the games are a little bit longer. And yeah, well, that's good, right? We want to see how Dark and ZEST play their late game, their macro games. So yeah, I'm very eager to see that. I've been analyzing a little bit of ZEST games before, and he has this amazing Skyto style. And yeah, the way he is playing it, I would say, is quite unique. And people are starting to copy it nowadays a little bit more, I guess. But I think, yeah, this carrier build that he likes to use, I'm not sure if he's gonna use it this game, but he goes like a couple of Void Rays, then 3 bases, and then just double carrier. Or even maybe 1-2 Void Rays only, right? So carrier straight is very interesting, and it can be quite good if you are on top of your scouting and everything. Dark also goes for very fast third base, Korean third base. I love that. I am still surprised that Europeans think it's bad, but I think it's great. Like you get more larva, more creep, everything, you know. Yes, it's tiny bit more difficult. Like the main argument of Europeans is that it's more difficult to counter oracles, but they are slightly less popular nowadays, oracle first. And on top of that, I don't even think so, honestly. Like, I don't know. I like the 3 hatch from, it's usually around 20 supply, the 3rd hatch from Koreans. I love that. I think it's way better than delaying the 3rd. But the debate it's quite amazing that the debate is going on, guys, for 6 years and it still hasn't been settled. How is this possible? Like there must be more optimal way, right? Like one of the builds must be better. That's it, right? Like it's, well, unless they are just basically equal. That could also be an option, right? Like the difference might be so small that it doesn't matter, but well, alright, so we've got 2 links in the main base, obviously pretty good for Zerg. That should rather not happen, but sometimes it does happen when Protoss just I'm not sure what happened here that these links got in, but still I think I've seen Trap manage it in a way that those links didn't manage to get in, right? So okay, alright, so we've got fast third base, standard stuff, and Oracle after Void Ray, so it's not mass Void Ray. It's quite interesting because if you go for Void Ray into Oracle, that might be a surprise for the Zerg, right? Because nowadays people get mass Void Ray quite often, so sometimes the Zergs even skip on Spores altogether, and Oracle like this can be quite surprising. And yeah, okay, let's see how it's gonna do. Dark is setting up his queens everywhere, and Void Ray plus Oracle, quite nice setup. Yeah, like it can actually kill quite a bit. It even ignores the Spore. That's quite interesting. Yeah, 3 drones, not bad. Not ideal though. I would say look at this, 10 drones already for Dark in production. So, and yeah, we've got the fleet beacon, so that could be that double carrier play. Initially, I really like that. I think it's very strong, although it sometimes can. I mean, it railroads the game into certain positions. So sometimes maybe players are not that comfortable in that situation with carriers. You know, I'm always of an opinion that carriers are really good, and well, why not get them if you can get them, right? So. Yeah, I assume also that some kind of Nidus possibly could be quite problematic against this build, right? Because queens are just very, very good at early game, in early game situations against Skytos, right? So I'm not saying this is even like 100% safe, but generally I would say, you know, it's quite safe. And also the problem for Zerg is that it's difficult to scout this, right? Because all the overlords died. And because of the Void Ray, obviously, and you can't get into the Protoss base, right? So this could be 10 or 12 adepts moving out just now. They usually move out around 5:30. And for example, Dark could be producing roaches, and yes, he's doing that, right? So these roaches are, well, useless, completely useless. As we are all aware, roaches don't shoot up, obviously, right? So yeah, those should have been drones, those should have been queens, but he just doesn't know, and he has to be safe here. And obviously, I'm not saying these roaches are a mistake. It's just they are, well, he has no idea what's coming, so he has to build them, right? So otherwise, maybe 80 drones would be pretty nice counter to this, but again, well, maybe overload speed is an option here. Although I'm not a huge fan of overload speed. I feel like it costs a little too much. But maybe instead of 330, you could go for, I don't know, like 5-minute mark overload speed. That could maybe work. Because this here situation, right, is, well, these roaches, as I said, this is a lot of roaches, and this is not ideal. ZEST going, look at this. This is very nice. Nowadays, interceptors leave their carriers relatively slowly, so he attacks the rocks first. This is, as always, ZEST is just doesn't cease to amaze. Very nice. He's going past queens to just, well, this is a harassment. He doesn't want to kill Dark here, obviously, right? He just wants to get a couple of trade interceptors for some drones in this case. And what do we have from Dark? He is going for infestors. So yeah, I think that's a correct choice. Infestors. I'm leaning more and more towards infestors rather than vipers, because infestors, I feel like they have just more utility, and it's much more difficult to feedback them, while vipers have to get close, and infestors can just chill in the back and throw, you know, these microbial shrouds or fungals and stuff like that. So yeah, I like this. By the way, no hydras, which is also very interesting. This is queen infestor. So technically, yeah, so this is very good as well, because under microbial shroud and a lot of armor upgrades, then queens take 1 damage from interceptor, which is quite insane, you know. So yeah, maybe queen infestor is the way. He's spending most of the gas on, well, actually all of the gas on infestors, but the question is he able to be, you know, in any way aggressive here, right? The answer is probably not, right? Because these queens, they off creep, they're just obviously terrible here. So it seems like, yeah, Dark is chill here, and he just wants to happily go into Hive. Yeah, I guess Infestor plus Viper is the best composition, right? So why not have both? But generally, for us mortals, it's quite difficult to execute, right? 2 spellcasters, even 3 with queens at the same time. But well, Dark is so good that he should be able to easily be able to execute, you know, more spellcasters. Throwing more spells at the same time. And here he's adding even more spellcasters, which is Ravagers. Ravager Infestor, or rather Ravager Fungal, is something I've been experimenting myself a lot with a couple of years ago. And yeah, I think it's quite good. Although it assumes that Protoss will get his army caught, you know, fungaled. His entire Sky Toss army is gonna get fungal, which, well, if he splits properly, that is not supposed to happen, you know. So so he's kind of relying a little bit on surprise here. Nice Neuros. These have quite a lot of range. I thought they have less, but yeah, okay. Well, Void Ray for free, that's pretty good. Void Ray is obviously pretty good. Obviously the price here would be Carrier, but it's still pretty nice. And we've got Double Immortal and Ground Switch from ZEST. So I've seen from ZEST that before as well, where he goes into carriers and actually plays normal game after carriers, you know, where he goes Immortal, Archon, Chargelot with even some High Templars, and not many carriers, which is quite interesting because I think this is in Korea. In Europe, people tend to play Broodlords together with this anti-Skytos strategy. So even if there are, even if Protoss is going full Skytos, a laser, for example, I've seen him go Broodlords anyway, right? So, and in Korea, it's a little different. They actually go for ultras. They go ultra, you know, Corruptor, Infestor, Viper, stuff like that. So ZEST, I think what he's doing, he's reacting a little bit to the meta that is in Korea, right? And what he is doing here, going into Immortals, is absolutely a correct choice, obviously, right? Immortals, I don't have to tell you guys what Immortals do to ultras, obviously, right? So yeah, and otherwise the ultras are pretty good too, just clean up High Templars and stuff. Quite huge engagement, tons of neurals, and yeah, actually this is my problem with neurals, guys. Like eventually the infestors just died. It was quite cost ineffective for Dark. Look at this. Yeah, so units lost up here, we've got clearly in favor of ZEST. So this engagement was very, very good for ZEST. And yeah, I prefer to use infestors a little bit more in terms of fungal or microbial shroud instead of neurals. I think neurals with the one range from neural like I don't know, 2-3, maybe, I don't know when was that, but I think 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago. That means that this, I think it's 8 range now or something like that, which is a little low because, well, he can just right click, Protoss that is, you can right click with Voidries or maybe even Carriers and just get rid of Infestors. So, and obviously if Protoss doesn't have Observer, then that's amazing, but well, we have to assume that ZEST is competent enough to have an Observer with his army, or at least Oracle for Vision or something like that. So yes, I mean, it could have been quite surprising to go for Neural 5 years ago, but nowadays I don't think so, right? So so yeah, I don't think, and also that's only defensively, right? Because offensively Protoss will have cannons, so he will have Vision anyway. So yeah, it seems like that's also the conclusion that Dark came up with, and he is actually skipping Infestors altogether, which is quite interesting. So he's electing to go for a Corruptor plus as Viper composition, which is obviously pretty viable, pretty good. Although it requires, I like the Spine Forest, by the way, it's very, very good, and also Spore Forest. This is how late game is supposed to be played, right? Because when you've got 200 army, how can you make your army stronger still, even stronger, right? That is, well, through static defense, right? Because you can have like you have, it's not under the limit, right? Like if you've got 200, you still can build 100 spores. So this makes late game a little bit campy, in my opinion, because whoever defends really has a huge advantage in this situation, right? So, well, all right. So it seems like ZEST is quite interested in attacking. So, well, it's Koreans, right? They are addicted to attacking. They cannot just sit back, you know, like, yeah, I think you've seen, guys, maybe, or I at least heard of the Scarlet against Nib recently in DreamHack, where it was 1 hour game, and Nib was like, chill, yeah, okay, I'm sitting back, I'm getting my Tempest, I'm getting my Shield Batteries, I'm just slowly moving forward, I'm happy. Koreans don't think like that. Koreans, they want to always attack. Look at this, like, this is good for Dark, you know, this is good for Dark, but Zest just couldn't help himself, you know. Honestly, I think it's just best to sit back, right? If you've got 10 shield batteries, if you've got 10 cannons supporting such a huge army that Zest has, well, it's just better, right? However, I've seen also Zest in the past do some nice tricks with Mothership recall. And I think he might be going for that in this situation as well. And it's quite amazing what I think I've seen him do it against Rogue. And this is actually amazing, because this is quite similar to what Mass BC Recall can do, where Zerg has to be in 2 places, while Protoss can just teleport, and NPCs can also teleport, and Zest might in this situation maybe kill a base or 2 even. So we'll see, and yeah, he can, yeah, okay. And also War Prism with High Templar, this is so nice, man. This is so good, this is so well thought out. I'm very curious to see if Dark can actually hold this, because, okay. And also, I guess, you know what, I'm not sure if there's enough spores on the map. Okay, nice, there's the recall. Yeah, and look at this, right? Yeah, this is the problem for Zerg, right? All the queens are gonna die before anything arrives. So, Broodlords are getting stormed here. And yeah, but okay, see, this is why these spines and spores are so good. It's not that they are gonna beat the army, obviously, but they just buy time. And time is absolutely something that Dark needed in this situation, because without time he would lose a base or two even, maybe. So this was very, very good, very nicely done by both of them, actually, I guess, right? Okay, well, Corruptors kill buildings very, very quickly. Look at this. Only Cracklings maybe kill things as quickly as this, right? And we've got more carriers on the way. So it seems ZEST is reacting to the composition of the opponent, right? So we talked about Ultras, right? Now we don't see any Ultras, we see Broodlords, right? So ZEST, the Immortals are useless right now, completely useless. So I maybe ZEST even got rid of them, I'm not sure, but yeah, they just don't really do that much, you know? Okay, another attempt at the recall party, and let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, so yeah, so okay, yeah, so you see, yeah, he's trying to get rid of these Immortals. They're just useless here. They are with the composition that Dark is going for. So these Immortals can be used, for example, to just run by with Immortals is a thing, guys. It's actually completely a thing. Okay, so it seems like this the number of carriers. Yeah, what is going on, Mr. ZEST? The carriers are a little bit, out of position. There's just not many of them. You know, when a Showtime plays carriers, for example, and to some extent maybe also, yeah, look at these Immortals, okay, doing the job, run by with Immortals, okay. So when Showtime plays carriers, for example, he goes up to, for example, I don't know, like 18. I think I've seen 18, right? Where he slowly gets rid of probes. He slowly gets rid of any other units that are supporting carriers, and carriers work very similarly to Broodlords, right? Or even, you know, Colossi or anything, or Hydras even, right? Like they are glass cannon, right? So glass cannons with big range, they usually get exponentially better, you know? So 6 carriers is nice, 10 carriers is amazing, but 15 carriers is way, way better than just, it's like 15 carriers is not twice as good as 7.5 carriers. It's more than that, you know. That's, well, okay, you know how exponentially works, I guess, right? So reaching critical mass of carriers is absolutely a beastly thing. So yeah, let's see if ZEST is going for that. What is the number of carriers right now? Only 9, so yeah, there's still room for getting more, obviously. Yeah, and we've got slowly getting rid of probes, right? Because this is not a fight of micro matters here, but it's not about macro, it's not about you know, multitasking. This is mostly about micro, and it's mostly about what kind of compositions are you designing here, right? And yeah, one of the parts is getting rid of the probes, because that allows you to build more units, you know. So what I like about this game, it's just, you know, a battle of brains, right? It's battle of fingers, of course, like always with StarCraft, but it's battle of brains, right? Like what kind of composition am I gonna design here, right? And let's see. It seems like the guys are, yeah, it seems like ZEST is a little bit flustered here. And these Broodlords, yeah, I would say this is still not enough carriers, honestly. Like, I would want to see, ooh, a nice run by with a bunch of Banes, but this is kind of a favor. This is a little bit of a favor, guys, for ZEST, I think. He doesn't want to have that many probes anymore. Look at this, he's replacing them with Archons. I'm not sure if Archons are ideal here. But yeah, Archons are absolutely very, very good here as well, because, well, insane number of Archons actually, so this could be actually very good, because this is a lot of enough Archons to break through even Broodlords to some extent, you know. So, and look at the armies, this is just such a scary army. So many Archons, Jesus, guys, Jesus. All right, but Voidries, maybe not. Why not more carriers, you know? But yeah, Archons obviously very important role, sniping Corruptors. Basically, these carriers here are untouchable if the Archons are in proper position. So this is very nice. However, the problem is that gas bank from ZEST is getting depleted. So maybe he went a little bit overboard on these Archons or something. Like, he needs a absolutely amazing fight here, and I'm not sure if he's gonna get it. He might, obviously. Okay, this is okay. Alright, let's see. This is, I think, probably main fight of this game. Let's see how it's gonna go. For now, I think it's going fine for... Look at these Corruptors. They are just very, very afraid to do anything. Carriers are dealing tons of damage on top of Broodlords. And yeah, okay, slowly, but surely, yeah, okay, this is huge mistake from ZEST. These Archons are not protecting the carriers, and that means that tons of carriers already died. I think 3, 4. Yes, he sniped a little bit of Broodlords, but yeah, this is too big damage, I think, that ZEST is taking right now, and without the bank, this is a little bit difficult for him right now to replenish the army and to just play the game. And we've got 12 Ultras. That's an interesting switch. Okay, and yeah, basically almost all the carriers are dead right now, so Ultras should clean up everything. Very nice Remax idea from Dark. Very interesting. And yeah, I think the run by is also causing ZEST a lot of problems. And there's no way these Ultras not clean up here. Ooh, sick! There was neural into feedbacks. That is quite sick. Okay, there's no observer, I think, this time. Okay, there is one. Alright, so yeah, I think this should absolutely be a cleanup. But it's not like, you know, I don't think what ZEST did was wrong compositionally. It was just a little bit mismicroed, honestly. Like all the Archons just took, they weren't protecting the carriers enough, you know, and that's it. And that's, I assume, GG, right? Okay, he can micro a little bit here and there, but you don't beat 20 Ultras with 1 Immortal, guys, and 10 Zealots. So Corruptors here, yeah, and also again, did really ZEST have to attack there? That's another question. Why wouldn't he just get more bases, you know? And then it would be on Dark to, for example, attack and stuff like that, you know? So yeah, all right, GG, well played. And here we've got a nice scout already from Dark. He sees the third, the Stargate soon, and even though there is a Stalker to potentially deny vision, it's still just too late. So yeah, that's actually quite aggressive Overlord, and he manages to escape, so that's quite interesting. Usually players tend to hang the Overlord above the gateway of the opponent, but why not actually just go in straight? I'm not sure if this was Adept first or Stalker first. Against Stalker first, you're not supposed to just go in like that, right? But he still managed to. I'm not sure. Maybe this was Adept first. I wasn't paying attention, so... Okay. Yeah, so he now even sees that this is Oracle first, so that's all the information that Dark wanted. He got it, because now he can start his Spore Crawlers. And I mean, yes, it's possible to defend many things from Protoss without scouting. Like this is how good Zergs have become in this regard, I guess, you know, where you just blindly put queens at each locations and stuff like that. But still, it's better to just know, you know, it's sometimes, you know, it could be mass charges or something, and these 2 spores would be still useless, you know. So it's nice, always nice to have a confirmation, even at the cost of, you know, losing that Overlord sooner or later, I guess. Well, I guess this happened now. Okay, so the Overlord dies. Slightly supply blocks Dark, so he builds 4 Overlords right away. He says no more supply blocks, I hate them. And okay, and just tons of drones. And again, quite chill strategy from both players. I would say this is just standard now, you know, just get a fast third base. Why not? As Protoss, you know, you can build more. As Protoss, the most important part of the build is usually to acquire as much gas as possible, which means that you want to get 4th, 5th and 6th gas as quickly as possible, and obviously more chrono boost, more probes. That's, well, obvious stuff. And here we've got ZEST again going for this strategy, so that's interesting. Let's see if he is going to pull it off with a little bit more success, I guess, this time, or not. Who knows, we'll see. We will see. Okay, so roaches again. Yeah, so it seems like Dark is just playing safely, you know. Roach Warren timing, it seems it's around 4:45, which I like a lot. This basically means that you're safe against everything that can come out of Stargate. After Stargate, you know, all these adept builds and stuff. Adept builds generally arrive slightly before 6-minute mark, sometimes even like 5:40, something like that. So it takes 1 minute to get the roaches out after you started Roach Warren, because Roach Warren is 40 seconds, Roach build time is 18, I think, so 1 minute. So if you start 4:45, you're safe against most of stuff against Stargate. So obviously take notes, guys, because that's how you design the build. You know what's coming at you, and you prepare on time. Okay, so Oracle again, obviously Oracles, yeah, so it's basically the same build from ZEST. So I wonder how it fares against Queen Walks. I would say it's probably not bad, because Queens, while they're quite okay against, they're amazing against Void Rays. Against carriers, they are, I would say, against, like, once you get 4 carriers, you need tons of queens to deal with them, and you never can catch up anyway, right? So, okay, it seems Dark has enough, has had enough. He is fed up with 30-minute games. He wants to finish this quickly, and let's see if he's going to be able to. The knight is coming here. A roach queen, and yes, as I said, queens. Okay, this is a ridiculous number of queens, so it most likely is going to be enough to beat even 4 carriers eventually, I think. But let's see. I'm curious myself. Let's see. Okay, yeah, he's attacking the 2 more again to release the interceptors, but look at this. Yeah, the queens don't seem to care that much. It's just the critical number, and then the knight is already being started, I think, in front of the 3rd base. So we are going to have 4 carriers and maybe a Void Ray or 2, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else. I think maybe the correct play from ZEST would be to even abandon the 3rd base, but then you would be so insanely behind in terms of economy. So I'm not sure if he can even do that. But on the other hand, if he manages to get up to 6, maybe even 8 carriers in this situation, maybe he would be fine. But it seems like, yeah, this is looking very scary for ZEST. I don't think he can defend this. Look at this, the spores even as an addition. I think the play here for the Protoss is mainly just to deny the Nidus, right? Like, if once you have the Nidus on the other side with even spores and queens and stuff, this is very, very tough for Protoss. But on the other hand, there must have been a hole in the vision of ZEST if he managed to plant down the Nidus, and it still takes a little bit of time to build it and stuff like that. So, oh, actually, look at this. The first wave is actually defended quite nicely. How many spores do we have? Not that many. So, and the Ravagers are mostly, I guess, to kill cannons and stuff. And yeah, okay, yeah. So we actually 20 draws. Okay, so this is a contain. This is not an all-in. This is not a push. Well, I guess it's push, but it's not an all-in anymore. And yeah, this should be pretty good for Dark still, because he should be trading well. Interceptors almost for free here. Like, I don't expect much stuff to die from Dark just yet. And we've got already High Templars, so that's pretty strong, pretty good move. Feedback in the queens. I think it's slowly time to either abandon this or strengthen this, because I think the number of units from ZEST starts to get scary, and he might be able to break through this soon. But okay, well, it seems Dark doesn't really care. He just gets more sports, and obviously this is pretty good. And the run by from ZEST, it's gonna be quite difficult to deal with, because all the units are okay. Well, I guess Dark just teleports his units to the map. Okay, he is fine. He is absolutely fine. The Nidus, yeah, teleportation. It's quite interesting that every race has some kind of teleportation nowadays, and I'm not sure if that's a healthy mechanic for a strategy game, I guess, you know. But well, that's what we got. Okay, so here, yeah, so it seems like actually ZEST distracted Dark. And through that distraction, he was able to, while Dark was busy microing the Ravagers, kiting the Zealots, he managed to break through the contain. And this is a big win for ZEST, because this was very nasty. Like, this was just these spores in face of Protoss are always very, very scary. And I don't know, is Dark gonna be fine here? And this looks very, very scary for Dark. Well, I guess Protoss is still on 3 bases, right? So that's the thing. We've got a million infestors. Okay. So, yeah, tons of spores being built. Obviously, makes sense. Why not? And can Dark still stabilize here? Well, I guess he's got 4 bases, right? So that's a thing. He needs 10 gases at minimum, though, to be fine here. And I think actually, yeah. Well, I'm very worried for Dark here. I think if ZEST just A moves here, he might just straight kill him. He's just transitioning into infestors right now, but there's nothing on the ground essentially, right? Maybe some roaches. Okay, here the Void Race shooting the lasers. Okay, the hive is gonna die, and this is looking even worse. Okay, so less gases. Okay, maybe. Okay, here. Okay, yeah, and he even escapes. Okay, so this is another big win for ZEST. Okay, 16 more drones, and yeah, this base might also die. There's no answer to High Templars here, right? So let's see what's gonna happen, and yeah, the base is gonna obviously have to be sacrificed. Okay, so it seems the idea is a Roach Ravager will be the counter to High Templars. Well, but these units can be obviously stormed, right? So. But you know, honestly, like one magical fungal could absolutely do it for Dark here. There's not that many carriers, and there's a lot of zealots. There's no immortals, which is quite interesting. Immortals are pretty good in this situation, and okay. Oh, look at this 3-prong attack, also with War Prism. Is Dark going to hold this? Oh my god, I don't think so, guys. Look at this. Attack from every angle. This is very, very, very strong. ZEST likes to do things like this. Okay, million feedbacks, throwing everything, but I guess a microbial shroud. But just there's just not enough drones soon and not enough units. Yeah, okay. I think Dark is getting shreked here, but maybe not. Let's see. Okay, so Roach Ravager, still nice biles, and okay, some nice neurals. What are queens doing actually? Just chilling in random place. Okay, Neurals have been hit. Actually, never mind. Look at this. Neurals are doing. Okay, he's gonna bile every single carrier. No way. He did that, and now queens, I assume, just are gonna clean up the Void Race in the. Oh no. Okay. Okay, the carriers. Oh my god, he pulled it off. Okay, so I was criticizing the Neurals, but I guess they worked. Oh my god. Sick, man. Sick. Okay, well, but the Observer again, like it just wasn't there, guys. It wasn't there, I think. It was, yeah, 3-prong attacks. You know, where are you gonna have the Observer? You know, like with every army, every part, then either of these parties are vulnerable if you don't have in any of them, right? Or yeah, I can't believe this. I can't believe Dark actually managed to, well, win, right? Like, is it the win? I think so. Let's see. But it looked really, really good for ZEST. Yeah, sometimes with ZEST that happens, right? Like when he's super ahead, he either gets a little bit, maybe, you know, a little frivolous. This was artsy play, I would say, but. I guess sometimes he makes these a little bit of mistakes and sometimes he loses in a quite unbelievable manner, honestly, because, or maybe it was just Dark being so good. Honestly, like I think every single Zerg I had on Earth would die here. But yeah, okay, well, this is very nice. They're very nice play. Okay, and then again, look at this fungal plus biles is very, very nice combo, and again tons of neurals, everything dies. Okay, neural plus well, maybe it's time to try, guys. Maybe neural plus Ravager is the thing, is the new hot thing. Okay, yeah, obviously Ravager's very strong unit. High Templars, well, a pure High Templar, not ideal as well. Okay, Archons, not that great against Roaches. Okay, I did not expect such situation here. Yeah, just Neural after Neural, and yeah. But why does it work, guys? That's the question. I'm still wondering. Okay. So I think what we've seen here is, I think Dark to some extent was just crisis managing, right? Like he was behind after the contain, and he just tried to do whatever he could, right? Unless we're gonna see it again, and we're gonna see it working again. Who knows? Well, then maybe these neurals are a thing, right? But yeah, so still, right? When you judge the strategy, whether it's a good strategy, right? Like when, you know, for example, you learn from Koreans, you try to steal some builds and stuff. There are builds clearly that work as an element of surprise or hoping that your opponent messes up. And there are just builds that just work no matter what happens, right? And this is very important distinction when you choose your strategies, right? You have to always, like, people just, you know, they watch Koreans and they steal their strategies without really that much thinking or analyzing, you know? And one of the main things that you have to ask yourself, did that work because the opponent messed up, or did that work because it's legitimately good, you know? Or rather, there's no hard counter to it, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that you can see someone just skipping Baning Nest, and you see that they just die to Hellbat pushes every single time. Does it mean Hellbat pushes are overpowered or the way to play? No, because if you get Banings at proper timing, then you crash Hellbat pushes, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that it's always very important to put the context of what happened when we judge the strategy, right? So based on what I saw in previous game, I can't comment that, you know, Mass Infestor with Neurals is the new way or the best way to deal with carriers or Skytos, you know, I think. Okay, yeah. But yeah, it clearly worked, and it clearly is strong thing. So it absolutely deserves credit and some, you know, recognition and just testing. You know, feel free to test it. But as I said, I think if Protoss plays optimally, then it almost it shouldn't work. I think, you know, like you can just target down the infestors very quickly. And supporting units, maybe feedbacks, maybe just carriers, maybe void rays. You can't neural every single void ray or every single carrier, obviously, right? So okay. So yeah, but again, maybe there's something that I don't know here, or maybe we will see. Okay, so here I think yes, this was this time it was Stalker first, and Dark is playing blind. He has no clue what's going on, and he is going for a blind defense of whatever Protoss is throwing at them. This is very important, right? Because yeah, look at this, right? He's getting a Roach Warren at 330, which is very safe. But on top of this, he also gets 2 sports in case this is an Oracle or something like that, right? So quite interesting. I think he maybe is getting a 4 queens as well. Maybe not, I'm not sure, but it seems clearly that he just had no idea, and this is his go-to build, you know, when he doesn't know what's going on. And yeah, it's very important to have these, while as you can see in worker count, it's slightly unoptimal. Well, at least you're not gonna die. So if you can't get the scout off, then that's an option. Okay, and it seems ZEST is really adamant about trying this strategy again. We've got a second Stargate, Fleet Beacon. And we've got 6 roaches right away from Dark. I am very curious to see what is this. I have a suspicion this could be just a Queen Walk, right? We see on the minimap something. Ooh, this is gonna kill a lot. The Spore, yeah, this is a fancy positioning of Spore that is popular nowadays. If you guys maybe remember in Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm, the Spore usually was in the middle of the mineral line, which this kind of positioning can be better, but it's much more difficult to pull off because this requires to have queens perfectly in position, so that if the oracles try to rotate and kill the drones on the other side of the Spore, then they are supposed to be queens in position, right? To defend the oracles. In this case, there's none, so the oracles dealt a lot of damage. So in case that you're going for, I would say, a queen walk, then most likely having Spores in the middle is optimal. And when you have queens in the base, then obviously what Dark here was pretty good. Okay, so yeah, we've got the third base is being sacrificed, and yeah, this is a very interesting test as well from the Protoss perspective. Is this build safe, right? Because again, we want to see are these builds viable in how many situations, are they a gamble or not, you know? And it seems like possibly these carrier builds might struggle a little bit against queen walks. Let's see. Yeah, okay, let's see, still, okay, the Lynx are attacking the shield batteries, and most of Ravagers already died, so this is still quite close, I would say. 6 probes is dying, there we've got more biles, and yeah, this is getting to a point where it starts to look like critical damage. Right now Dark could very easily just go into macro, sacrifice everything that he has and still be fine, and I think that that's what he's going for. Another bile on top of the probes, so we've got 13 probes dying in total. We've got 20 worker advantage for Zerg. That's a big advantage, even though well, he sacrificed his entire army for that. That's a big deal, but 7 spores should be fine, and now the main question is whether Dark is going to defend counter-attack, and what is going to be Dark's response against 9 spores. Okay, look at this, spores everywhere. He really respects the counter-attack, and that's yeah, that shows you how many steps ahead he is of a normal, you know, Zerg. Dark is just so good, guys. Like, he knows that this is something that you really have to respect, because this is 4 carriers or 3 more Void Rays very soon as well, you know. So yeah, I think here we've got yeah, this is just Zest looking at this, seeing so many spores. He's like, oh no, I was hoping for a nice counter damage, but I'm not gonna get it. And now I've got 39 drones and, well, not much else. Sorry, 39 probes. So he's still trying because, well, he has to. He is being chased by with spores. Okay, and the queens. Yeah, it's still. As I said, like, this can be super scary push. So Dark knew how scary it can be, and he's still struggling. But I guess most likely the Corruptors should be fine here. Okay, so we've got microspores moving around. How do you microspores? That's an interesting question. I wonder if he has them on hotkeys, or is it just manual? I think he should have rapid fire burrowing soon as well, right? Okay, so yeah, now we've got Corruptors. Corruptors with themselves are not that great against this army, but Corruptors with transfusions are absolutely insanely powerful. And there we go. Yeah, GG already. Okay, Zest taps out, and 3-0 for Dark. That's